Hey guys, welcome back to rhrjen. Honk honk. I'm so glad you're here. We have a really good one for you today. Okay, so there's been so many allegations of Meghan copying people, especially it seems Catherine, Princess of Wales. That's coming up again recently with some photos we saw of Meghan and Lily. Don't get me started. I've been talking about those for days, but those photos of Meghan and Lily that are very odd, and then people are unearthing like photos of Catherine that seem to be very similar. Now, one could argue that yes, people pose in a similar way for photos. If that was all of it, I'd be like, yeah, okay, fair enough. It's not. There's so much more. So today we're going to be talking quotes. We're going to be talking ideas, things like that, word salads that have appeared to be lifted or borrowed from others. And I just kind of want to go into this. So this is something that I've covered before. And we're going to be taking a look back at this, especially with more allegations of taking things from people comes with this as ever. This as ever NYC is crazy. So I thought this would be a good time to revisit allegations of copying. Now, before I get into this, I need to show you flockers something. Guess what? So in America, we have this store called Bath and Body Works. And I say it like this because a lot of my flock. A lot of my friends here are from the UK and different places, so you may not have this. We have Bath and Body Works here, and it's as it sounds, sells a lot of bath products, but also home products. I like the way, like they have a lot of like plugins to make your home smell good. So I got some on your recommendation. Thank you so much, and I picked those up today, and I would like to share them with you right now. You're like, Jen, what are you talking about? Oh, I'll tell you. Now, some have said this is a duck. This is not a duck. This is a goose. Even the lady who sold it to me, I said, hey, what animal is that? And she looked at me like I was crazy. And she's like, a goose. That is a goose. I think it was maybe marked as a goose. I don't know. Duck, goose, don't care. It's a goose. Look at this goose. Look at its little wellies. Look at its yellow coat and its umbrella. I love him or her. I love this flocker. So it plugs into the wall. And this is the scent. And see, it comes out of here. Makes your whole room smell good. But this is the part you see. This goose, this fashionable goose with her little wellies or his little wellies. And look at that yellow buttons. Is this not the cutest thing you ever seen? I'm obsessed. Bath and Body Works. I'm not selling it. I'm just telling you. I love the darn thing. I just got it today. Can you help me name it? What should we call this goose? I don't know. Welly? Wellington? What do you think? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. What should we name this goose? But that's not all. When I expressed my love over this, she said, well, have you seen this one? I had not seen this one. Look, it has a friend. This little thing goes in the car. And again, a little scent pack goes in here and it lives in your car. If you think this thing's going in my car, you're wrong. It's staying in this office. It's another little goose. So we need names. What do we think? Let me know in the comments. I'm obsessed with these things. Look how cute they are. Honk, honk. Honk and honk. Just kidding. Look at my honkers. Honkers and flockers. What do you think? Now, you guys let me know in the comments below what we should name him, and that's what we'll do. I would name them. You can say like Blue Goose name and I don't know, umbrella. Well, they both have umbrellas. I don't know. Welly. Well, they both have wellies. What do you want to call? Tell me the plug-in goose name and the blue goose name. How about that? What's plug-in's name? What's blue's name? Let me know in the comments. But I love them. Aren't they cute? Again, I got these at Bath and Body Works. You're going to ask me how much they were. I can't even remember. Not much. Plug-in smell, car smell. Oh, and plug-in smell. Okay, this is a deep cut. Do you know what this scent is? I love it. I just found it today. Again, I went shopping. I'm not a big shopper. I don't shop that often, believe it or not. I just not that super into it. But I went shopping today. And when I got this, you have to pick a scent or you pick a scent to go with it. I found a scent and I love it. Do you know what the scent is? It's called Book Loft. It smells like a library. If you know, you know. Look, I'm obsessed with books. I even talk about often how I love the way books smell. So now this room smells like books. I'm very happy. It's a goose and it smells like books. Very happy girl. Love it. My favorite stuff. You flockers and the library. Anyway, the smell of books. I know that's weird, but I love it. It's great. Does the cheese stand alone here? Do you guys like it too? Am I crazy? Let me know in the comments. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Now I'm going to play for you some of Meg's alleged, I have to say it like that, but some pretty compelling arguments for why I believe Meghan has been stealing quotes and ideas for years. So let's get into this. Again, I'm Jen. Thanks for being here. Honk honk. You guys, we need to talk not just about this disaster trip to Nigeria, because I won't stop talking about that. Something else has just come out, but also about stealing, dun dun dun, slash plagiarism, which one would argue is very much related. Why am I talking about this? Well, it comes up a lot with this one being accused of stealing slash plagiarism, all things related, from recipes. Of course, we've heard the accusations of stealing the recipe for the lemon olive oil cake. We've heard the accusation of stealing Aquazara shoes or them accidentally not being returned, right? I believe that was posited by Tom Bauer in his book. We've heard, well, seen with our own eyes, where she'll steal looks from people. Even when I was putting this together and researching, I found where they were accused of stealing their Instagram handle from somebody. So with this new accusation of plagiarism, I thought it was a good chance to talk about that and then talk about other examples. I've done a video like this in the past, so I'm going to bring that back out and talk about some of the examples of changing quotes a little bit and the miscarriage story, things like that, where it's like, sure seems plagiarized to me. So let's talk about all this. I'm Jen, honk honk, everyone. First of all, I'd like to give a shout out to Walmart Wallace, because I'm not plagiarizing. No, they caught something that I didn't catch. So I want to give them a shout out. This was found on St. Meghan Markle Reddit. So again, I'd done a video on plagiarism, which I'm going to share some of the stuff from, but they brought this new information. So let me explain. Just a month ago, can you believe it's already been a month? Because the disaster keeps on giving, so it feels like it was just yesterday. But just a month ago, they were in Nigeria walking around in this dress at a school, embarrassing themselves nonstop. Well, just a reminder that of all the ludicrous things that they did, and there are many of them, on, let's see, May 10th, it looks like they were in Nigeria's capital. And Meghan gave a speech or some sort of talk where she said, you can see at the bottom of this page here, our daughter, Lily, she's much, much tinier than you guys. Isn't that odd? I still get stuck on that. Harry does the same thing. They don't know anything about their children. So they just give these nonsensical, she's tiny. Okay, but that tells us nothing. That's you know what I mean? Like I've said it before. It's like going on a date with someone and you're like, hey, what'd you think of that guy? He had a nice personality. It's not really anything. It's not showing that you know someone. So she's tiny. I'm sure she is. How would you know? About to turn 3. Okay, so she's positing when Lily said this. Get ready. I'm sure you've heard it, but just play along with me. Get ready for this nonsense. The way she's saying this, then Lily said this when she was 2 years old. Okay. Just like they said Archie's first word was what? Crocodile? Bullshit. All right. They lie about everything, I swear. All right. Let's see here. She's much tinier. She looked at me and she would just see the reflection in my eyes. And she goes, Mama, I see me in you. And now she's talking really literally. But I hung on to those words in a very different way. And I thought, yes, I do. I see me in you, and you see me in you. What? There is no way a 2, almost 3-year-old said that. I'm calling big fat bullshit on this and everything else they've ever said. But seriously, I called it at the time. This is so a Meghan thing to do, and the way it's worded is so clunky that it makes it all about Meghan, even when she's telling a story about her kid, if you believe in the kid. No, but even when talking about this kid, she's making it about herself. It's all about me. She's literally playing look at me in her kid's eyes. It's so weird. Okay. That aside, just the unbelievable nature of this thing. Have you ever had a 2, almost 3-year-old? I have. They don't talk like this. I can speak for my own. They don't talk like this. I've been around other kids. I worked with kids. They don't talk like this. This is very weird. Okay, so again, calling big fat bullshit on this. So where am I going with this? Take a look at this. Again, huge shout out to Walmart Wallace. Great username. They're on St. Meghan Markle Reddit because she posted, I'm guessing they posted, y'all,
I found the source. And you had me with y'all. You're speaking my southern language. But y'all, I found the source. Take a look. All right. There was a movie that came out last year, and it's called The Marsh King's Daughter. Don't worry. I hadn't heard of it either. It looks like it stars, what is her name? I'm trying to find it on the page in the tiny print. Daisy Ridley. Love her from Star Wars. Okay. Ray. Starring Daisy Ridley, and let's play, I love the Royal Grift. Okay, Royal Grift, I know, I've seen all your comments on her video. She did a great job on coming up with the hidden meaning of the post and the jam. We don't need to go about it here, but you know what I'm talking about, that post. Okay, well, let's play hidden meaning on this one, shall we? Not so hidden meaning. So we're going to go into it. But it appears to me like the quote was lifted from this movie. And you know what this movie's about? Again, put on your thinking cap. It's not hard to figure out. It's about an evil man. I haven't seen the movie. It's just going on the description. An evil man, an evil father who was horrible to his daughter for years, it sounds like. And so, if we're playing the Royal Grift, let's uncover what that means and say, hey, look at that. Would you put it past Meghan from lifting a quote, well, from anywhere, but especially from a movie where a woman hates her father? Where have we heard that from? Oh, yeah, from Meghan herself. So here's a quote from the movie. And the mother cried, "Is this myself I see, reflected in your eyes?" And the daughter said, "It is me I see, mirrored in yours." Where's the AFP when you need it? When you need them to show how misleading this is, right? Radio silence on this one. It's all a scam. Excellent detective work, Walmart Wallace. Well done. I'm so glad you found this and, pointed this out. Well done. So with this, I'm going to get into more examples of plagiarism alleged and more stories taken from other places and where they came from. Okay, this was interesting to me. During my research, I came across this album. You're like, Jen, what's this? Let me tell you. Paula Joy Welter is a folk singer, and it sounds like she is either from or resided in California. And she had this album, Morning Light, and it looks like it came out in 1995. There's a song on here called A Sky with No Blue. Well, in this song is this lyric right here. A girl without freckles is like a night without stars. Okay, that's just part of the chorus. Again, this song, I'm not sure when the actual song came out, but it was on the album, copywritten 1995. So just keep that in your head. Paula Joy Welter. Okay, now this comes out of The Sun, and it says that Meghan Markle wrote a book about her freckles when she was 14 and copyrighted the title. Now, you guys can definitely correct me. I know there's some authors here in the comments. I didn't think you could copyright the title of a book because I thought it was too general. I'm not really sure. Doesn't matter. But guess what the title is? A Face Without Freckles is a Night Without Stars. That's totally a coincidence, right? And look at this. It was copywritten in 1996. So a year after that Paula Joel Welter song came out. Interesting, right? All right, let's talk about that Tom Bradby interview, that ITV interview that Meghan did in 2019 in South Africa. How could we ever forget this? It was absolutely disgusting what was going on. They were there they were on a royal tour. They were supposed to be talking about South Africa, and I've talked about this so many times. They were there where people were actually struggling, and not, I believe I'd been told that like a women's center was right behind her where people had been through real traumatic events. And yet she's there crying, saying nobody's asked her how she's doing. So it was during this, quote, explosive, that's what they called it, 2019 ITV interview. She's quoted as saying, she actually says, "It's not enough just to survive something, right? That's not the point of life. You've got to thrive." Does that sound familiar to anybody? Because it sure does to me. No quoting anybody, no referencing anybody being quoted, but take a look at this. What's that? She quoted Maya Angelou? Yes, she did. "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." Famous Maya Angelou quote. Interesting. Seems like it may have influenced Miss Ragland over there. Okay. Now I'm going to get into another one, and this one really bothers me. They all bother me. This one's really bad. I'm going to go ahead and put out a trigger warning. If you are sensitive to miscarriage and things like that, you're probably going to want to skip ahead of just a little bit. But if you're sticking with me, let me tell you what's going on right here. New York Times, November 25th, 2020. Meghan Markle wrote an opinion piece, and it's titled "The Losses We Share." In this piece, she spoke of her grief from suffering a miscarriage. What she wrote is this: I knew as I clutched my firstborn child that I was losing my second. Okay, I know, tough subject, but let's see where we're going with this. Now, there is a lady named Stephanie Tong. Book Chasing Light is all about, it's actually called Finding Hope Through Loss and Miscarriage. It was published about 4 years before. And in it, there's this quote. See if this sounds familiar to you. It says, I clutched her tightly and cried into her. As I tenderly held my firstborn in my arms, I was saying goodbye to my third. So almost the exact same thing. Same use of clutched, same description, just a few details changed. All right, let's go over to this speech right here. We've all seen these pictures. A lot of you like to point out that when she lies, she turns red. So take a look at the screen. Think what you will there. All right, UN Women's Conference 2015. She is giving a speech that is meant for the empowerment of women. I say that with a question. But let's take a look at one of the quotes from the speech. It is said that girls with dreams become women with vision. May we empower each other to carry out such vision. Here you go. Pay attention to this part. Because it isn't enough to simply talk about equality. One must believe it. And it isn't enough to simply believe in it. One must work at it. Let us work at it together starting now. All right. Great. Now, does that sound familiar to you? Because it probably should. Let's take a look at this. Eleanor Roosevelt. It isn't enough to talk about peace. One must believe in it. And it isn't enough to believe in it. One must work at it. Interesting, right? Again, I got a lot of these, you see the quotes that I'm using here from AZ Quotes. But yeah, interesting, right? Is it not the same thing that Meghan just said? But again, no reference to Eleanor Roosevelt. Interesting that at a women's empowerment speech, she potentially stole a quote from a woman and didn't give her credit. All right, same speech. And I couldn't find this anywhere. I'd listened to the speech and I kept thinking, this sounds familiar. So I did a little research and I think I figured it out. Here we go. Okay, she says women make up more than half the world's population and potential. So it's neither just nor practical for our voices to go unheard. All right, this lady here is Graca Machel. She is former First Lady of South Africa. She's married to Nelson Mandela. She had a quote very similar. Half of the world's population are women, the other half are children, yet in many countries, women still don't have equal rights. So again, it's not the exact same quote, but it's pretty close, right? It just a lot of similarities. All right, let's take a look at this one here. We got the Women's Organization with a quote from Meghan. Be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best night and day to make you everybody else means to fight the hardest battle which any human being can fight and never stop fighting. Meghan Markle. Okay, does that sound familiar? Okay, because it's from E.E. Cummings. To be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best night and day to make you everybody else means to fight the hardest battle which any human being can fight and never stop fighting. E.E. Cummings. All right, once more examples? Cool, you got them, don't worry. How about this one right here? You may have heard of this one. So this one is courtesy of People magazine. Apparently she gave an interview to something called BTTV in 2015 where she's quoted as saying, we just need to be kinder to ourselves. If we treated ourselves the way we treat our best friend, can you imagine how much better off we would be? Now that's an interesting point. Does that sound familiar to anybody? It might. Because Cindy Crawford has a famous quote that says, if people would treat themselves with the same kind of love they give their friends, that would be such a great gift we could give ourselves. That is eerily similar, right? I'm sure these are all coincidences, right, Megan? Right. All right. How about this one? June 2020, she gave a speech at her Immaculate Heart High School. It's her alma mater, and she gave this speech and said, I wasn't sure what I could say to you. I wanted to say the right thing, and I was really nervous that I wouldn't, or that it would get picked apart. And I realized the only wrong thing to say was nothing. Now, if this sounds familiar, let me just show you this little thing. If you're a Grey's Anatomy fan, you'll know that Dr. Avery said almost this exact same thing when he said, we're petrified of saying too much or saying it wrong, when the truth is the only wrong thing you can say is nothing at all. Weirdly familiar, weirdly similar, right? How about this one right here? She was giving a virtual speech at Girl Up. What a stupid name. Girl Up Leadership. I just said Leadership Summit in July 2020. And she says, and sometimes those voices can appear on the outside, and some things can appear to be painfully loud, but you can use your own voice to drown out the noise. It says drown, I think. Because that's what it is. It's just noise, but your voices are those of truth and hope, and your voices can and should be much louder. Okay, does that sound familiar at all? Because I think Steve Jobs would potentially have something to say about that. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And the most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. Oddly specific and very familiar. It's almost like it's a copy, right? Weird, very weird coincidence. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay, now we move on to this one. On her podcast Archetypes in October 2022, she has a quote in there that's weirdly similar. Let's take a look. She says, we get to the other side of this and find the place where a high tide raises ships. That's very moving. Okay. Does that sound familiar? Because look at this. All right. John F. Kennedy quote, the rising tide lifts all the boats. So yeah, a few words were changed, but isn't it the same thing? Weird, right? Weird coincidence. All right. And then we're going to end on this one. So let me remind you about this. I remember watching this. The Social Dilemma. I pulled it up on IMDb there. Social Dilemma came out in 2020. It was like a documentary, and it just talked about why we need to get the heck off social media. So that came out in September of 2020. And then October 2020, Meghan Markle was part of this, let's see, what was it called? It's a Fortune Virtual Summit. And apparently it costs about $2,000, according to Express UK, to attend this virtual summit. Well, she got accused of using lots of lines from Social Dilemma throughout the summit. Could you imagine paying that much money and then hearing movie lines or whatever documentary lines quoted back? Let's take a look. Okay, so the first one is Meghan's quote. There's something algorithmically that's in there that is creating this obsession that I think is very unhealthy for a lot of people. All right, the Social Dilemma. The algorithm is getting better at keeping us on the screen. Okay, the next one. Meghan says, for so many people, social media is an addiction. The Social Dilemma. Social media is a drug. All right. And then Meghan says, there are very few things in this world where you call the person who's engaging with it a user. People who are addicted to drugs and people on social media. The Social Dilemma. There are only two industries that call their customers users. Illegal drugs and software. You guys, that was all in the same speech. I am speechless, which is hard for me because I can't stop talking. Seriously, though, can you imagine who is paying that? But let's say your company, for whatever reason, bought tickets and made you watch this, and you just get quoted back over and over a documentary you saw the month before. Could you imagine? My God, you guys, I am just blown away. There's so many times I've heard, yeah, she steals quotes, and just changes a few details and makes them her own, or she just takes things and tries to sound smart with them. It's kind of eye-opening to see it all put together like this. I'm sure I missed some. I did so much research for this one. That's why I sound tired, but I did. So if there's one that I missed, please leave it in the comments. Let me know which one of these is your favorite. I don't know. They're all so insane to me. It's hard to pick a favorite. It's wild at this point. So I'm leaving this one here. But I really am. I mean, it's not just disgusting enough. It is disgusting to copy somebody else's work, to not give credit, to try to pass it off as your own. That's awful. And then to think about what we know now about the Africa Park situation, especially, and how they're being ignored, and Harry and Meghan are saying nothing about it, not speaking up at all, while giving these plagiarized quotes about the importance of listening to women and giving women a voice and all this stuff, and then again doing nothing about it. It's not that I'm surprised. It really does disgust me.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I sincerely appreciate it. Look at these cute little flockers. So remember, tell me what Plug's name is and what Blue's name is. Let me know in the comments. I love them so much. And if you say they're duck, well, you're wrong because they're geese. I love them. Anyway, I just spilled. Okay. Guys, that is it for me. My most sincere thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what I missed. What else you feel like she's stolen. Yeah, just let me know all of it. I appreciate that so very much. You guys mean the whole world to me, and I can't wait to bring you more stuff like this. I want to say a special thank you to my Patreon peeps. Thank you guys so much for everything you do, all the ways you support the show. You flockers are amazing. You mean the world to me, and I appreciate you so very much. Now, if you're interested in becoming a Patreon member, it's easy. Just go to patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. Yes, it's my old name, but it's got tons of content. It's so much fun over there. I love that group so much. You flockers are great. And yeah, so definitely check that out. You get like bonus behind the scenes. A lot of times when I have a guest on, I'll ask them a couple extra questions and I'll put that as a Patreon exclusive. Yeah, just lots of stuff going on over there. So check that out if you're the least bit interested. As always, you flockers, I love you so much. You know I do. Thank you for being here. Oh yeah, my crown, my bow, my crown, my bow, yeah, love it. Anyway, I lost my mind. My geese, my flockers. See, you guys are everywhere with me. I carried you around in my car today with me. In fact, no, I thought about putting this in my car. I should have gotten an extra one. No, they're living here in the office. So tell me what their names are. They'll live here in the office. I've finally lost my mind. We knew it was on the way, but it's happened. So there's that. Thank you guys for being here. I love you, flockers, so much. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.